Nigerians lament over the present government. Some said this government have been the worst government since the history of Nigeria. And you, what did you think? Is the government the worst government since the history of Nigeria?
23rd of December 1974, Nigeria signed,
3 years since Tinubu's government, 3 years. 2024, 2025, and now 2026, the budget has not been implemented. He has never implemented a budget. How does a country run without a budget?
As I'm here, I'm praying every morning. I'm just waiting. If I go to my phone, I'm checking to see if they have impeached him. Every morning, I'm waking up with the hope that he has been impeached, because he has no solution. I cannot see a country that somebody will have no solution and the person will still be there. You entered when dollar was how much, today dollar is how much, and people are still leaving you. What are you working?
Ghana to divide this country, share them into three, make everybody go. Because to share this country or make that way happen for Nigeria, make it happen here. Now what I still keep on saying every time. Now what will be the solution? Because all this campaign promise where they give us, nothing go still there like this. They dollars and 2,000, and we cannot do anything. We not go do anything.
So Tinubu is not competent.
Oh God, no fit handle this work. Tinubu cannot handle this work. No be this kind of person who go fit handle the work. Tinubu cannot handle this work. No be this kind of person we need. We don't need this kind of person.
We don't need Tinubu.
Not be him we need. We not vote for him. Me I don't vote for him.
How Nigeria they treat you now, bros?
Bros, things every day for market. Things they worse for market. Things keep on going higher every day. Inflation. Every day things keep on going higher every day. Bros, if we have see an opportunity now to travel and leave this country, me I go.
For now, I will appeal to the military of Nigeria to take over this government from this civilian, because you can't be a military personnel and the civilian is misruling the people. We don't have a judiciary system again. Everybody has seen it that is cash and carry judgment, and that's what is happening everywhere. Currently now Nigeria, there is no law at Komaru, so they are not qualified to be our leaders. All these people are monsters, they are demons. I hate them with passion.
What is the solution now? Make Tinubu come out.
Yeah, the solution is that we brought a person that will revive Nigeria, being P2B. They refuse. Now look at where they're taking us to. Where Nigeria is going, everything is collapsing, because P2B was a God sent, and without P2B, Nigeria is not going to improve. Yeah.
Tinubu step down, because they will divide Nigeria.
Okay, even to cut this matter short, the right way to fix Nigeria is to just divide. Everybody go and fix his place.
All right.
Tinubu na big thief. Make her let me. First, the man a nonsense man. If I see him, I go tell him Kolo. If a fish man, don't know anything. He don't go school. Don't know leadership. Me go there and I for that city. Everybody go happy for this country. Everybody go happy now. They joy. What is it? Common man, no be joy.
No joy for Nigeria.
No joy. Nobody. Even those people who say Baba Tinubu, all of them now they choose everybody. Many of them don't say they are going to finish with them. Many of them now don't match. Many of them will go decision. They know they say them. They see the APC and PDP, APC. They hear them. He don't choose everybody.
For our system, nothing about everything. Don't become worse.
You know if you buy Ogoro again.
Come on, Ogoro, but know them.
It's my turn to scatter Nigeria. That is his turn to scatter Nigeria. Immediately, 24 hours for you to enter the city. Now he scatter everything. High everything. Make him help us. So Tinubu, make him help us. I beg. We don't die.
If you say Tinubu fit help Nigeria, you don't reach 1 year now.
I don't know what in the not 1 year plus now. We now in 1 year.
Make him die. Make
him leave us. Make him help us. This thing don't get too much. What did they do? He say he turn to scatter to rule Nigeria and to scatter Nigeria. Nigeria don't scatter now. This is. You know what thing that happen? He just they carry everything they put for his own pocket. People there here they die. Making leave people where go rule, make they rule. You don't go leave them. He just there. What is there they do? I don't know. Making leave us poor people don't die finish. So you know they hear what thing that happen.
All right, Mama, thank you. Mama, you won't give us a reaction?
Aga, it's entire new. Right?
Wow, the economic is hard just because of this subsidy of the thing that they remove. So we are expecting the so-called to come, and we hope by the grace of God.
So it's 1 year. So far,
he has not come. So
you still feel it will come?
Yes, I'm optimistic that it will come.
Your view on this administration, a lot of Nigerians are complaining that this is the worst ever in the history of Nigeria. That Buhari, they are even wishing Buhari to come back.
Yes, they would have said that just because no any of the president that came that removed subsidy. So the removal of subsidy is fighting so hard.
Now Nigerians are suffering
more than the other government self.
What's it cost?
Like the president now, because all the power there for your hand.
How the president they make Nigeria they suffer?
Starting from fuel when you enter. Starting from fuel. Now the problem of Nigeria start again, continue more than the past government.
But Nigerians been complaining before then.
Well, still complain. Yes, it's complain. But this one come worse more than the other Buhari own.
So you are saying Buhari better pass Tinubu?
More better now because that time fuel was 400 and something. But making this one enter, fuel don't turn to 700, 800, 900. So there be pressure where Nigeria don't put self because maybe even the government people, now the individual. Just they put pressure before they can't try again. They reduce this price.
I urge all of us, unexamined life is not worth living. It is time for every Nigerian to sit down and ask ourselves, where is our nation going? We need to reverse this because the abuse we are allowing today will take his revenge on our children. God bless all of you.
Look, you come in as a government that is deep in debt, and then you are spending money like a drunken sailor. So what do you expect? They take it, you take debt. The first thing, or one of the first things I learned in life, he who goes are borrowing, goes are sorrowing. And where is that? And then, and when you get this money, the amount of money that was left in reserve and in what we call crude account, excess crude account.
I went to Court of Appeal. 5 judges that never gave judgment in my favor. So if you look at that and look at what is happening today in Nigeria, where professors are now aiding illiterates to rig election, where our lawmakers have removed forgery as an offense in electoral matter. As senior advocates of Nigeria are defending forgery. Our religious leaders are now praying for criminal politicians for blessing. We have a crisis, and above all, our judges are now thinking, on your mandate we stand.
Oseni, let me tell you something. I
want to learn from you this morning.
In we went to Jos at the first PDP convention that finally brought Olusegun Obasanjo as our candidate. Shehu Shagari had organized all the northern delegates and came into Jos to support Alex Ekwueme. And I'm happy that he's still alive. Ibrahim Babangida had to intervene and called all the northern leaders that if Alex Ekwueme was allowed to be president, it will make nonsense the coup they carried out that removed him and Shehu Shagari. That was why we lost the convention, the presidential primary in Jos. So we all went into, I think, it was Jos Hilton Hotel or something, and most of us weeping, Is that what happened? And Shagari said he has done his best, that the military was still running their affairs, instructing people what to do in parts of the country. But most importantly, Hussein, let me tell you something. There's a situation we find ourselves, and you start to ask, why is it that God brought all of us in this country? If we cannot explain why or ask any question why God did that, I would have thought that in the end of the Civil War, now we have 6 component parts of this country. Gowon is still alive. Can the governors or the president, if they are sincere to themselves, if we are not shred of investigative hypnosis, this is what I think is going on. Can the 6 component zones in this country sit down, analyze properly, say what their different interests are, and then bring them to a common point where every group will try to harmonize for the better interest of this country? I still remember the Oputa Commission. There was nothing that needs to be said that was not said in the Oputa Commission up to today. No government has dared to take up any side of what he said for the betterment of this country. So it is difficult for me to begin to imagine whether we are really sincere as a people that we need one Nigeria. When the war ended, General Gowon said, "No victor, no vanquished." But I don't know whether the meaning of that English, whether it still applies. Because the Southeast, principally in this country, whether anybody likes it or not, we are, neglected. We are not taken in as, people of one country because we fought a civil war. But statements like this from the Plateau governor also tells you that there are people who have varying views. We didn't start the war. I don't know how old you were by the time the crisis started in the north. That singular coup happened because the 3 regions were moving slightly apart. And the time I met with late Major General Hassan Usman Kassina, when he was Deputy Chief of Staff to General Way, he told me that they all supported the coup. That they all supported it too. The only thing that what happened was after the coup, some elements in Kaduna, after Ahmadu Bello was killed, somebody else was killed in the west, and M.I. Akpara was not killed in the east. And I said, M.I. Akpara couldn't have been killed in the east because a head of state was visiting the east and was with M.I. Akpara, then the Archbishop Macarius of Cyprus. That was the only reason why that coup wasn't complete. And so it was difficult to convince people that it wasn't an Igbo coup. But honestly, people who were involved in that process will tell you that the military was just trying to save Nigeria from the governors, from the premiers who were moving slightly apart. And they didn't think it was going to be good for the overall interests of this country. So what I think we need now, if we are going to be sincere, not just people taking public office and sharing money, is for us to sit down, discuss the fate of this country, how we can move this country forward, and implement what we have discussed. It's one thing to discuss and arrive at some, principles of, discussion, and we are not able to implement it. Then it's useless wasting all the time talking about one Nigeria.
And in what we call excess crude account, excess crude account. Excess crude account went beyond 30 billion. After I have left, it was about 25 billion before I left. Reserve went up to 60 billion. It was about 45 billion before I left. Now where is it? What did we do with it? Now people say our debt is 90-something billion within a space of how many years?
Today we have here on Nor TV, we have President Olusegun Okikiola Obasanjo. Thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Great. We appreciate you being here. Today we're going to have a few questions for you. So Choma is going to start off and lead us in terms of questions.
So let's say that President Tinubu called you with the same question. What can be done for the youth? What would you suggest he do?
I would say, first of all, the measures that have been taken, two particularly, which are internal measures, are measures that are desirable, but not enough thought.
And specifically, which measures are you?
The measure of removing
subsidy.
Okay, yes.
Subsidy has to go. But what study have you done before you wake up and just say, no more subsidy?
So if you were the one to do it, how would you have taken that?
I will set up a committee.
Okay.
First, and say, well, look, how much is subsidy? What is the subsidy? Where does it come from? How does it come from? And then I have a study. Now, if I stop subsidy, what do we gain? What do we get? And how do we spend what we get to alleviate some of the hardship that may come? Or will any hardship come? Will any hardship not come? I would do such exercise that I would say, look, so that when I come out and say, well, we remove subsidy, I will also say what had gone into it, how it has gone, and what effect it will have. But for instance, I went around the world, I got debt relief, and I said, look, what we got in debt relief would be used to carry out sustainable development. And the present Deputy Secretary General of the UN was the lady I appointed. So what money we receive, we gain from debt relief, this you will be in charge. So there's all, even bringing the parallel and the official rate of exchange together, again a good study. What will happen? There are policies that have to be carried out, but for me, not enough thoughts, not enough study, not enough preparation have been done. Because you should be able to say, look, if you do this, well, what are directly repercussions, and how do you ameliorate it? What will be the effect? How do you handle it? Yes.
So during your tenure, you just spoke about debt relief. You were part of, I guess, the president of Nigeria that was able to get the Paris Club debt to forgive the Nigeria's debt. Now, in the case where presidents of a country, in the case of Nigeria, were to go and say, hey, we need debt relief or we need assistance.
No, if you come to me and I gave debt relief before, I will say, what did you do
with the money? So I'm getting to the question.
Yeah.
Now, you have a situation where there's excessive government spending going, what do you think the administration needs to do to address some of
the question you're asking me is so ridiculous, without due respect, because running the affairs of a country is like running your own affair. If you have to earn money and you have to borrow money to eat because you are using the money you earn to pay debt, then something is wrong in your life. And the same thing, if we are earning and we are spending 95% of our earning to service debt, then something is basically wrong. And you have to sit down and say, hey, what is wrong? Now, when I came into government, we were paying $3.5 billion to service our debt, and the quantum of debt was not going down. Now, and I said, look, now this cannot continue. There's something basically wrong here. And then I went around, and when I made my case, people say, okay, look, you have a case, but we expect something from you. And what do they expect from me? They expect reform. And I keep telling them, look, reform that's one thing that is normal in life. You
are looking at your life, even as a person, as a family, you are looking at your life. What you need to do differently? What adjustment do you need to make? And that is the way, even more so for a government. Now, we have to reform. Look, you come in as a government that is deep in debt, and then you are spending money like a drunken sailor. So what do you expect? So the question you asked me,
I mean, it's obviously a cliche question in the sense that I don't think that
I find this almost in most African countries. They take it. You take debt. The first thing, or one of the first thing I learned in life, he who goes a borrowing goes a sorrowing. And where is that? And then, and when you get this money, the amount of money that was left in reserve and in what we call excess crude account, excess crude account, excess crude account went beyond 30 billion. After I have left, it was about 23-25 billion before I left. Reserve went up to 60 billion. It was about 45 billion before I left. Now where is it? What did we do with it? And now people said our debt is 90-something billion within a space of how many years?
The other issue that's become a big topic in the Nigerian spectrum is the issue of revenue. Nigeria is currently doing 1.6 million barrels, according to President Tinubu's recent speech, which he did a couple of days ago, which the allocation is supposed to be 3 million barrels. What are the key reforms that you think that needs to happen to get to Nigeria to be optimal in terms of being able to, part of resolving the issues, obviously?
You call the major oil companies. You call them. And look, what do we need to do? That's what I did when I was there. Anything, come and let us talk. And as one of them said to me after I left government, and he said, look, we didn't always get what we wanted with you, but we know you will get a decision. Because I called them, look, what is your problem? This is my problem. And we talk.
Back to the other question of corruption, which I think is obviously the elephant in the room within the Nigerian context. Each administration, you have been, I would say, very blessed to have seen from the 70s that you did the handover to Shagari, to the 80s, to the 90s. Now, what are some of the key things that you've seen based on your experience that the current administration needs to have in perspective to be able to run that country very well? Because obviously from hindsight is
character. That's the first thing. So as I'm concerned. And that's the attribute of a leader. And the next thing after that is your policy. How relevant is your policy? People must see leadership is not a picnic. For me, leadership is an exercise in sacrifice. What is the sacrifice that you are making? If you are asking me to make sacrifice, what sacrifice are you making? If you are asking me to go this way, what, are you ready to go that way? Are you going that way? What example are you showing? Not only yourself, even people around you.
With the
that whole character, policy, then the people around you. I always say that a tree will not make a forest. So the leader by himself or herself alone is not enough. You have to build a team. And again, a credible team. Men and women that are competent, and their competency is known and is seen. Men and women.
I believe you have watched the video. Some said it's because of the removal of the fuel subsidy, while some said Tinubu is not capable to make the country better. And you as a Nigerian, what did you think is the solution to the present situation of Nigeria? Please do not forget to like, subscribe and share, and do well to come back and watch more. Thank you for watching.